Indisputable. I'm your host, Rosado. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today. Breaking down news of the day, none other than Mr. Jackson White. Always fascinating to have his brilliant analysis. Top story of the day. Hell of a thing. Man at an NBA game falsely accuses the black security guard of assault. Viral video. Here it is.
I can't get up. He assaulted me. Don't touch me. Do not touch me. You assaulted me. Look at me. Look at my leg. Bullshit. He threw me in the sheets. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't throw my leg. Don't touch me. Bro. Ow. 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 Y'all seen everything today. Yeah, my favorite team is over there too. North Carolina.
Put it up full mass. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a demonstration of white fragility in a white male during an NBA game. A man was allegedly ordered out of the Barclays Center after twice attempting to cross the court. Twice attempting to cross the court following Monday's game between the Brooklyn Nets and Charlotte Hornets. But instead of exiting peacefully, he turned the incident into an embarrassing spectacle of white privilege, throwing an unhinged tantrum before dramatically falling to the stairs, falsely claiming security officials had pushed him down. Now keep that picture up just for a moment. Now, typically, when an individual attempts such a con, they are assured, or at least reasonably sure, that no cameras are in the vicinity. However, at one of the most viewed places, probably in the United States of America, a damn NBA game, where you have witnesses, you have camera phones, you have facility cameras, you have coverage cameras, you have journalists, you have reporters, you have bloggers. Everybody has a damn camera. This idiot pulled it there. Didn't think that one all the way through, obviously. Moderators of the story media page that shared the video said that the man became belligerent when a black security official told him, take a different route to the exits, as fans generally cannot just, cut across the court to leave the building. The man shouted with such intensity that the arteries in his neck started to bulge. Let's go back to that picture. He looks like that on a regular basis, actually. That's probably incorrect in the story.
Maybe he has rosacea.
That's right. There you go. Quote, don't touch me. You assaulted me. Don't touch me, the man ranted, pointing his finger while standing up abruptly and getting in the face of a black security guard about 2 times the size. Quote, don't touch me, he yelled repeatedly. What ensued was a repeated attempt to exercise color politics and white fragility, according to the Atlanta Black Star, when met with clear and disrespectful communication from staff, said one Instagram account, which claimed to be the first to share the footage. The video contained the caption, quote, on today's episode of Not During Black History Month, end quote. The comment section was ruthless, with many mocking the man's meltdown as a prime example of white people's fragile ego on display when faced with black authority figures. like a damn toddler, one person wrote. The whiny, fake hysterics of don't touch me is right out of 5-year-olds in the backseat of the car, another voice echoed. He didn't even touch the dude, someone else observed. Shaking my head, these people always try to catch a case and waste their time. And I will say this, white bigots do this, okay? The general public does not engage in such extreme and insane behavior. And if you were trying to cross the court and you got caught, sometimes people are successful. I've seen it a couple of times at a Hawks game. I said, way to go, good for you, you got through. But if you get caught, and you got caught twice, so you need another day job. Obviously, this is not your preferred calling here. Take it like a man. Continue to say, you know what, my bad. I apologize. Jackson.
See,
it makes me wonder, and I know this is a long shot here, but it makes me wonder, did he do this whole thing just to attempt to get security, to rough him up so that he could possibly file a lawsuit? I have to ask the question at this point.
Maybe he did. Maybe he was bored. He thought that would add some excitement to his life because, it's like, I don't know if you've ever been to a public event. He looks like he's been on this planet for a good 60 years at least, or pushing that. So he's probably been to public events before. He's probably well aware that you're not supposed to like walk out into the middle of the arena where all the big stuff takes place. So he does know that. But yeah, this is like what police officers do when they pull over a black person and they're just scared. So they just escalate and escalate and escalate, because what else do you do in this situation? Because he was embarrassed. Clearly he was embarrassed and he didn't want to just own it. And like you said, as an adult, sometimes you just got to take the L, and people will respect you when you're able to do things like that. Like, oh, okay, this person can take responsibility for their actions. And that way people can give you a little bit of leeway. But apparently he just wants his entitlement to stay intact.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, at least he's internet famous.
At least.
Okay. Yeah. They're still talking about Kendrick Lamar. I'm talking about conservatives. Let's go to it. Here it is.
The halftime show was awful.
I didn't like halftime.
The worst halftime ever.
What a nightmare. I kept sitting there saying, maybe I just don't get this guy. This guy, Kendall Lamar, and he won all these Grammys.
It was so bad, Jimmy Carter came back to life just to turn off the TV.
Bro, I couldn't understand a word that was being said.
It was hard to make out what was actually being said.
So bad, Trump was hoping someone would shoot him in the ear again.
Kendrick Lamar's 12 minutes of rap was basically a musical grudge match. For me, it wasn't mass appeal. The music itself is not broad enough or well known enough to reach generations.
Now that Trump's president, we have someone like Willie Nelson at halftime.
Let's put Carrie Underwood and Reba and Morgan Wallen. Let them have a go at
it. Let the white people have a chance.
Put them up, man. First of all, you all have Hulk Hogan on your show. Can we start there? As a serious commentator on American values.
Right, exactly. Man, get booed everywhere he goes.
Oh, this is priceless. Let's put him back up. Judge Jeanine, who has never been a judge.
I didn't even know that.
Sean Hannity, which requires absolute no introduction. Special thanks to the good folks at Mediaite for putting together that compilation. You can find the full compilation on the website. However, this actor would top them in a racist rant in regards to Kendrick's performance. Here it is.
Dear fellow Americans, just my quick little rant on this halftime nonsense. I mean, come on, stop with the ghetto crap. I'm done with the ghetto. I've had it up to here with ghetto. I know they want to say rap is this and rap is the streets and rap is the current and rap is the that. Look at jazz. The jump black and jazz blues artists. Give me the Count Basie band. Give me Duke Ellington's band. Give me the history. Give me jazz. You want to go black? Go art. Don't go ghetto. Enough with this. Who in the NFL hired this act? And Sam Jackson monkeying around. I mean, that's I'm sorry. It just repulsed me. What are they trying to do? What's the message? What's the message in the collard greens? Tell me. This ghetto crap. I'm done with ghetto crap. Lift the streets, man. Lift the streets. And black brothers and sisters, you've got so much talent out there. Lift the streets. Teach your kids dignity. Let's bring them into dignity instead of the street, instead of in the streets.
Lift the streets. Black people can do so much more, according to, put his picture up, Robert Davey. And he is a famous Class A actor, known for his roles in The Goonies, Showgirls, License to Kill. Meanwhile, a black conservative named Rob Smith, who I mopped the floor with when he came on the program a while ago, refused to come back. He went viral for this take.
All right, y'all, I'm sorry. Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl was whack. That was one of the worst halftime shows in recent memory. First of all, Kendrick Lamar is not mainstream. Like, people do not know those songs. The white people at the Super Bowl party that I was with, he may as well have been speaking Mandarin. All right, because nobody knew these songs. Nobody knew what he was rapping about outside of Not Like Us, obviously. But nobody knows these songs. Second of all, Blinkety Black, I'm so much blacker than you. Halftime shows are very passe. Like, that stuff peaked in the BLM era. It's very not of this moment. It very much does not work. And also, it's been done better. So at this point, nobody cares. Third of all, 43-year-old mother of two, Serena Williams, in a bad blonde wig, like crip walking, is embarrassing. Like, I'm embarrassed for her. And anybody's doing that Super Bowl, try to make a show that's for all of America, because that was not for all of America. That was for like a fringe that knows Kendrick Lamar and that knows, his reps. Like, you're not going to tell me that that man is mainstream.
Oh, Rob. Many black folks online would heavily criticize Mr. Rob Smith over the post, but
Indisputable exclusive. Exclusive, disputable, exclusive. We brought you this first. No other news agency has this video. No other news agency has this story.
Every week on Indisputable, we do original, exclusive, investigative reporting you'll find nowhere else.
Our reports have been viewed by millions. Hosted by Sean King, Ben Crump, Senator John Ossoff.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
We catching these cases on camera. Just imagine the things that we don't see.
Our groundbreaking investigations and exclusive interviews bring you the real voices no one else wants you to hear. We tell the stories.
Imagine a prison that is so racist, the corrections officers contact me. That is a life or death situation being created. A black woman who was driving for Uber was allegedly assaulted by a white male passenger. After we got involved, roughly 24 hours later, the police all of a sudden opened up an investigation. What was going through your mind when bullets were simply flying inside of your vehicle?
Honestly, I thought I was going to die.
Did these officers ever say that you fit the description of somebody they were looking for? Did they say that?
Never.
Okay, that means they lied.
And we want you to be part of our truth-telling movement. Send pictures and video of stories no one else is telling and a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the story to Indisputable's exclusive tip line at indvideos@tyt.com.
If you have more information about what's happening at this particular facility, please let me know.
Together, we're challenging the system, and together, we're making a difference.
I have the entire background to this story, and it is going to make your blood boil.
Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie, unveiling the truth, empowering the people. Weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific.
What's up, everybody? We back. We having a little technical difficulties, but we gonna continue on with the Rob Smith and the Hulk Hogans and the Janine Pirros, pretending as if nobody knows who Kendrick Lamar is. Like all of a sudden, the Super Bowl, they just gonna book this no-name act who just won 5 Grammys, by the way. I mean, Not Like Us, as everybody know, when Not Like Us came out, the whole country was bumping it. You couldn't go anywhere without listening to Not Like Us. It was all over the radios. It was playing at all the clubs. They was playing it at concerts. Everybody in the club would be like, A minor, when it came on. So first and foremost, there's no pretending like nobody knows who it is. And secondly, like me personally, I didn't even watch the Super Bowl. I don't care. It doesn't matter. And I say that to say these people are making such a huge deal out of something that they could just ignore. Like at the end of the day, we know why y'all are really upset about Kendrick's performance. It's because it was all black people. It was nothing but black people in sight. And that upset you. When you saw people's tweets, they was talking about all these people are not one single white person. This is pathetic. Because, they just want a little bit of DEI. Because, look, and you don't even have to like Kendrick Lamar's music. Who cares if you like it or not? It doesn't matter. Go on with your life. Who cares? This is not a big deal. But one of the things that I was pointing out is that there's no denying the fact that racism is one of the largest reasons that Donald Trump is back in office. When he was on the campaign trail, all he did was talk about how the evil immigrants are in our country and we're going to kick them out. On the national debate stage, this dude was talking about Haitians eating people's dogs and cats. So all of this really is just ridiculous. And then let's get to Rob Smith, the guy who went to that event with the Groypers. They were there and they were calling him all types of derogatory names because he's black and he's gay and he's a Republican. And I thought that he was like, okay, I'm distancing myself from the Republican Party. But then he changed his mind because that's how he pays his bills. So he had to jump right back in so that he could continue on with the grift. And after Trump won, he was like, walking and recording himself saying that the cool kids are now at the conservative table. But conservatives don't really run cool culture. Cool culture is usually pushing the boundaries in some type of way, whether it's music, whether it's art. So it's all just a bunch of BS. And lastly, I want to say before we move on Rob Smith, listen, when he said he was at some party and he said all the white people didn't know who this was. So all your white friends in the white world that you live in, nobody knew that. But again, Kendrick just won 5 Grammys for that song. So what kinds of white people are you talking about? Are you talking about cool white people from the city? Or are you talking about rich white people from the Hamptons? That's more what it sounds like to me. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this. I know I was ranting a little bit, but I mean, y'all could just move on with your lives, but instead you're showing everybody your racism. So now we're gonna move on to this next clip.
So the entirety of the black internet has been melting down for about 4 days now because one single solitary black man, me, did not like the Kendrick Lamar halftime performance. Now, what does this say about Black America to me? It tells me that Black America are very overly emotional children because they have projected all of their pride and sense of identity and all of this stuff into these entertainers and these celebrities. And I've clocked this for a while. The reason that liberals have been able to use these black athletes, entertainers, celebrities, rappers, etc., to push liberalism on black people is because black people do not have enough role models in our day-to-day lives. When you have role models that look like you, like I said, of success in your day-to-day lives, you don't put this much emotions on celebrities, but a lot of black people do not, which is why liberals have been able to use them to feed us very destructive messaging. So that is why the entirety of the black internet is melting down.
No, that's not why, Rob. The black internet's melting down because you're a goofball. And black people vote Democrat because when the Civil Rights Act was passed, Greater White America was really upset about that. And so the political party switched because the Dixiecrats were like, hold on, we losing all these people over here. That's what happened. And then you talking about, I love when Republicans pretend like they don't care about celebrities when Donald Trump is your orange God king. Nothing he does matters. He said he could go out on 5th Avenue and shoot somebody and it wouldn't make a difference. He was totally right about it. Y'all love Donald Trump, TV celebrity, The Apprentice. That's who he is. He's a celebrity. And anytime any celebrity kisses Donald Trump's behind in any type of way, Y'all just can't get enough of it. So no, that's not true, man. Talking about some black people ain't got no role models. Black people who live in cities across the Rust Belt, when businesses left, factories left, opportunities left. What do you mean? And let's not pretend like white America aren't the ones lining the pockets of all these rappers and entertainers that you pretend are such a bad influence. That's where all the money is. These white record executives, they the ones pushing this stuff out to the world. So it's not black people who are following this specifically. The whole country is following this influence because white people can't get enough of black entertainment, particularly when black people are talking about shooting each other and selling drugs to our own community. So Rob, you're the one who's alone in a corner in the white world pretending like, oh, black people don't have any role models. I don't even know what the hell that had to do with anything, but you know, when you're a black Republican, you kind of gotta be a little strange with it. But we're gonna move on to break. Hopefully we can get Dr. Richie back on here. We're having some technical difficulties, but stick around and we'll be right back.
I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm at a Wolfpack gathering.
We're growing. I see faces that I recognize, but I also see a lot of faces that I don't recognize, and that's fantastic.
We are all taking time out of our lives to be here, and that's amazing. That means we truly believe in this. Make no mistake, everyone in this room is a leader in a Wolfpack.
Alaska, West Virginia, Montana, Georgia, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, everyone is here. All these folks paid with their own money and sometimes took vacation days to come here to strategize on how to get our democracy back and get money out of politics.
Or you get more political power just because you have more money. This is why it requires a constitutional amendment.
The process of winning in your state next year doesn't begin when session begins. It begins right now.
To work to a goal, something this big that you're actually making a difference of, there's very few things in the world that really compare to that feeling.
Equal rights to fair representation, rights for human beings, anti-corruption laws, and free and fair elections. That's what we are fighting for.
What were the founding fathers? Revolutionaries. And they built revolution into the document.
So Article 5 is the way we have to go.
This is how you do it.
You're in this as a team, you're in this together. The fight will always continue.
That fight is not between the left and the right. That fight is between basically greed and humanity.
So I'm asking you to put differences aside, whether you're conservative or independent or progressive, to join forces to say no more corruption.
You get beyond the fear, you take that first step, and you'll change the world.
What I want to leave you with, of course, is hope. And I want to assure you that if we keep fighting together, we're going to win together. We're going to get that convention, we're going to get that amendment, and we're going to get our democracy back. Come join us, wolf-pack.com.
Cenk Uygur is not here today, which means that I will be able to talk during the show. No,
We'll see.
Poor Cenk, under the bus.
My God, if Jesus came back, how much would the Republicans hate him? So now you have to give away all of your possessions to the poor. Steve King would be like, oh, Weezy. Everyone should be lucky enough to have a John Idarola in their life.
You confused everyone.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was pretty clear.
Take a break now.
You can turn me into Dr. Manhattan as long as I get what Dr. Manhattan's packing, okay? The liberal mom says, Mark Thompson, have you ever thought about doing one of those tapes that soothe people to sleep? Like Mark Thompson reads the phone book. I'd buy it.
If you'll buy it, I'll do it.
Emilio D'Amelio writes in, John, you are so thick. I love you. That's what he wrote.
Pork Chop Express writes in and says John Idarola needs a new jacket.
Whoa.
Those 24-inch pythons are about to burst out of his sleeve.
Gun, baby. You know, the two people here said that their moms were both in love with you over Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm. That's an improvement. I usually get grandmothers.
Charlie Turk.
No, wait a minute, don't you dare.
Chemical castration when we return from the break.
I hope that, who they choose for the White House isn't just a borderline Klansman. That's all we gotta hope.
That's it, we will settle it.
She's cute. I didn't say that about Laura Ingraham.
Scandal at TYT. Did Anna comment on my tan yet? No, she hasn't.
You're a good bosser.
But Anna did say that I come in here today with a fresh mind. That's all I'm about. I'm about a fresh mind.
I can't with you right now. Okay?
She just can't. She can't, but nonetheless, we have to for another 3 hours. I'm back, baby. Let's rip into Republicans. See, don't miss the live show.
That's great.
Tell people, if you're a member, you get the whole live show whenever you want, because this stuff doesn't go into any of the clips.
Now, we're going to move on to the moment that I know everybody has been desperately waiting for. I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off! I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Oh, exactly. I thought we weren't living in that type of America.
No,
why do you feel that you have a need to point out if we're Mexican? Why you're a white bitch, and
no, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You called her. You called her that, a Mexican.
No, I called her.
Yeah, and you're too. You're a bitch. Yes.
You got to go run to another little bitch to defend. Thanks.
No, there's pointing out race here. There's no. What are you gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? What do you want to do?
Lay hands on me.
I'm not laying hands on you. You called her. You told her to get off her vehicle earlier.
Oh, well, she'll regret it.
Why will she regret it? Why?
Wait.
You regret it.
No, I don't.
Why? There's no need. There's no need to point.
When there's
she was not. She was not speeding. She was not speeding.
Turn your little off.
Bitch, look at you. Look at you.
Oh,
look
I'm
at
sorry.
you.
Look at you.
Look at you, exactly.
No,
exactly.
I'm pretty proud of how I look.
Well, I wouldn't be.
Yeah, you know, she was holding that phone. The Karen was recording as if the other person was in the wrong. She was like, I'm gonna go on a racist tirade against these people and I'm gonna record it just in case the police or the prosecutors or whoever needs footage of me being in the wrong. But, you can't forget, especially Latinos for Trump. And, like a lot of Venezuelans, as I'm sure in the news that you've seen, they feel betrayed. But at the end of the day, Latinos for Trump, whether you from Mexico, Puerto Rico, the DR, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, it don't matter. You're all just a bunch of Mexicans to white MAGA. You're all the same. You're just a bunch of Mexicans. I don't know if this Latino woman was Mexican in particular, but at the end of the day, that's how these people see it. They scapegoat all of their issues that the country has or that they have in their personal lives onto immigrants because, well, maybe it's easier to just blame them instead of blaming myself, or more importantly, the billionaires and the donor class that actually run this country, while we got Elon Musk holding presses in the White House because he donated almost $300 million to the Trump campaign. That's what's actually going on here. But, we live in a world now where everybody has a cell phone, so you just got to be ready. But this is Trump's America. And now we gonna move on to a little bit of a double dose for the junkies out there.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off! I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
And
Sir, before they call the cops, you gotta get out of their face.
I want the cops to be called for them.
No,
management.
This is racial.
No, it's not racial. How dare you say that?
Because you're clearly racist.
You're saying because
I'm asking you to respect me.
Do you want to see a picture of my daughter? What she looks like? She doesn't look like you. She's pretty.
We asked you to get out of our face.
Okay. So what I'm doing right now, and you are not participating, I am now going to management and saying, Shawnma is not doing the right thing.
Go ahead.
You're at lunch. Okay, then you could have said that. You're not on duty. All right. You work for this group too?
Record him.
Record
him bothering you, Sabrina. Record him.
Don't
reply. Don't. We asked you to get out of our face.
Yeah.
That's right. Get out of our face. You see this, don't? It's harassment. Okay. No problem.
Send the location. Come on. Get that in. Let's do it. Come on, sweeties.
My man, he was so confident. He just knew he was gonna get them in trouble, and then look at that. He's the one who ends up in the cuffs. And you know, as a former speed addict myself, I was sitting here wondering: is this man on cocaine? Is this man on Adderall or Ritalin? What is going on? Because he was, like, call the police, let them know. Got them wide. Well, he had on them sunglasses to hide the wide eyes, because that's what happens when you got a little too much booger sugar going on. So I think that may have been the case with this man. But Karens and managers, they go hand in hand. They yin and yang. They like white on rice. He was ready to go ahead and hit up that manager. But good thing that he got arrested, because clearly he was harassing these people. I'm wondering, like, what they were doing. They were just having lunch, they was chilling. He probably parked all the way down at the other end of the parking lot, and then he was like, oh, there's some black people over there. Let me go over there. You're not supposed to be here. Get out of here. It's my authority, it's my entitlement, it's my right. But again, cocaine is a hell of a drug, and sometimes it can lead you astray. So I don't recommend it. But that's the Karenicity that we have going on today. We're gonna go ahead and go to break, and we'll be right back.
I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken when I first got my license, like 17 years old or 17, 18, whatever it was. And I'm driving, I think, my dad's Oldsmobile. And I parked it in a place where there was two cars next to me, really tight spot, and a car behind me. I don't even know how I got in there, because I'm a terrible driver. Back then I was an even worse driver. And on the roads I'm okay, but in parking spots I have terrible spatial reasoning, and I'm a mess. And on my way out, I hit all three cars at once. I broke all records, okay? So I went, as I'm backing out, I went boom, oh, and this side hit that car, this side hit this car, and the back hit the third car, okay? And I got stuck. I didn't know how to get out. Like, I went, okay, for this, and then I'm like, no, and then, right? And then finally I had to stop, go inside the KFC and go, I'm sorry, I hit a bunch of your cars. They're like, what do you mean a bunch of your cars? I'm like, I don't know.
Wow, there's a B?
Yeah, I'm like this, I hit 3 cars, I don't know. So you guys gotta come help me, okay? Okay, so one, my bad, really sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, number 2, can someone take my car out? Because I don't wanna keep hitting your cars, and I'm incapable of taking it out of this spot.
My baby move that fat, baby move that fat. Out.
Hi, I'm Brett Ehrlich with Breaking News with Brett Ehrlich. This is Breaking News with Brett Ehrlich. Hi, Brett Ehrlich here. According to EPA head Scott Pruitt, climate change is not happening. He cited a meme on Facebook he saw. When pressed to back up this source, he said it must be accurate because the watermark said it was made by a scientist. So, your move, Truth.
Do all of you know the Young Turks?
An outlet like yourself that's willing to cover this story from the very beginning.
You have the Young Turks and a bunch of other progressive forces saying this is the time to fight for our values.
And I think right now there are a lot of progressive voters, many leftists who feel like they don't have a home.
And this is why what Cenk and the Young Turks are doing is so important.
What we've done is sustainable, slow, healthy growth. And I think that's the way news should be, where you don't rely on sensationalist stuff. You don't lean on whatever's trendy in the news at any given moment. You just go with the truth.
You gave me a platform.
You've uplifted so many other progressive voices through this network, and you're constantly looking for people that you can amplify through the work we do, through the infrastructure that you built at TYT.
It takes those early people who believe that can really be the seeds of this movement, and that has been the Young Turks.
We're super serious about the news. We also managed to do it in a way that is fun and lighthearted. We're not TYT, you're TYT.
You are the media revolution. You are much needed.
TYT, TYT.
The place is like 95% TYT on.
Favorite channel, we're getting that message out.
Frank and the Young Turks do an extraordinarily good job.
No matter what mainstream media says, you have to listen to the Young Turks.
All the people who support us on the internet, that's what gives us strength. That's what allows anyone who was in there, who was undecided, to think one side seems to be winning. They seem to have a bigger army. There might be a reason for that. So thank you guys.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for rocking with me while we've been dealing with tech issues. Yesterday, I was the one with the problems, but today, unfortunately, Dr. Richie is dealing with some technical issues down there in the ATL. We're going to go ahead and go to another break. And after that, I hope you enjoy the replay, and we'll keep things moving forward. Thank you.
Welcome to the Damage Report. I'm John Idarola. This is gonna be a big one.
Meanwhile, in the Arctic, you know where this is going. You watch the Damage Report, the Arctic's on fire. Obviously, why would we be talking about the Arctic except to tell you that it's melting once again? The Republicans aren't that interested in it. I wonder why. Lift out of poverty up to 3.7 million people, including an estimated 1.3 million children. Hashtag save the children? Not if it costs money. I mean, come on.
Ring the bell on YouTube today. You know what it does? It actually rings the bell at my house. It's super annoying, but if you do it, it just keeps on ringing. Oh, plus you can find out when the show is live and whenever we have new clips. Ring the bell. Oh no, not again.
How would I look walking a dog on the White House lawn? Would that be?
You know how much it costs you to start an account on tyt.com? Nothing. It's free. So you just go and register in about 2.5 seconds. Then you can chat with us during the show. We read those comments the most often. You chat with each other. Tons of people have become friends there. We're super interactive. We do a lot of polls for our paying members. We sometimes do polls that drive the direction of the show. So that's amazing. There's no other show that's this interactive. And our home base for that is tyt.com. Come join us right now.
When you were growing up, what did you want to be?
I think I was starting to think I don't want to do one thing, and I did live up to that.
Well, mission accomplished then, because Dave was a geologist, and now he's helped found the Young Turks. Even within TYT, you've done a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So if you want to do different things, you nailed it. All right, last story to end on is a Dave story. Whenever there was something like obvious, glaring, he would go up and ask them about it. Like it'd be like a giant church, right? And somebody's standing in front of it. The usual Dave go, pull up right in front of him. You're like, hey, do you know where there's a church around here? And they're like, right here. It's right here.
Practical jokes. Spice up life a little.
We've been around for about 20 years and we have about 20 billion views. Am I proud of that? Hell yeah, I am. We put out 20 billion messages in a bottle. Have we helped to move now 2 generations, millennials and Gen Z, to become progressive? Yes, those numbers are real. We moved generations. Were we the only ones? Of course not. But we have been the largest online news show for now decades.
Hi, this is J.R. Jackson, host of The Young Turks. Sign up for an Apple subscription for $4.99 to listen to our show ad-free and get access to bonus content. Sign up when you search for the TYT channel on Apple Podcasts at apple.co/TYT.
Cool news, shoptyt.com now has books. There's a whole bunch of books there. You're gonna be shocked to find out that they're largely progressive. Of course! Ryan Grimm's book, We've Got People, is there. It's a fantastic story from Jesse Jackson to Bernie Sanders to AOC that explains the progressive movement probably better than any book I've ever read. Speaking of awesome books, my dad's got a book out called The Original Young Turk, where he goes from the poorest olive farmer you ever met in your life to living there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bullpen. A Venezuelan politician has been effectively kidnapped, held against her will. We're talking about Maria Arapeza. To talk about this, we have in the bullpen Isabella Patriota. Good to have you on the show. How are you?
Richie, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for being here. This is really a hell of a situation that involves some complexities and politics. What I want you to do is provide the framework for what has happened to this advocate and politician in Venezuela under the current regime.
Yes, of course. It's been 2 months that she has been kidnapped without any warranty, any legal basis. She was removed from her own house and she recorded it. She broadcasted it on her Instagram when she realized that they had sent the government officers to her house to remove her in the middle of the night. Something that we cannot even imagine happening in a free world, in a free country. So because she was part of the opposition, she was supporting Maria Corina Machado, and she has been working for her for 10 years now, and she has been an advocate, and because she was claiming rightfully that the elections were stolen in Venezuela, that's what's happened to her.
This is happening under the Maduro regime, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And some people find that to be surprising. However, you all in Venezuela is not surprising at all. Can you give us some of the details related to accusations in reference to elections being corrupted?
Yes, in Venezuela, they have a different system than the one that we are used to here in the US. So they have machines that count the votes. So in each election zone, they have these machines, they count the votes immediately because it takes only 1 day to count, and the entire election day is a system processes only takes 1 day. Everybody that goes vote or not, and each session in each state or province of the country, they can count it. And legally speaking, they are supposed to have people from the opposition and from the government itself during this vote, during this election day. What happened is all of this, after they vote, they receive the receipts, what they say, for how many votes each of them has had. And what happened is that the opposition has proven that they have won, although the Maduro regime doesn't want to accept or send the proof that they won. So this is what they are facing right now in Venezuela.
You know, that's interesting. We have a similar concept in America where when votes are counted, the local county or the state is permitted to allow representatives from the campaign, we call them opposition parties, to be present during the certification process of the election. This is to enhance transparency, and I'm sure this was a similar protocol in your nation. At this point, she has been taken from her home. There's video of this. What is she saying in the video while the authorities are coming to get her?
She's asking, why are you breaking in? Do you have a warrant? What have I done? And she's saying, I am not a delinquent. She says that many times. I'm not a delinquent. Why are you breaking in? I haven't done anything wrong. And this is precisely what she is. She's just an advocate, and she was speaking out about what is going on in her own country.
In America, what they would typically do is provide some narrative, some context, even if it may be false. They'll provide some kind of context as to why they're doing this to an individual they're targeting. In Venezuela, what is the context provided currently as to why they did this to her?
They are claiming that she's a terrorist, and everybody that is rising up against the Maduro regime. They are calling terrorists, and they are placing them in what is nowadays the biggest torture center of Latin America. It is called the Helicoid. And it was built, it's interesting fact that it was built to be a shopping mall. And nowadays it's used as a torture center. And only after 30 hours of her kidnapping, we had proof of her life. And it was a video of the officers from the Maduro regime mocking her, taking her into an helicopter to this center that is in Caracas, and she lives far away from it. She would only go there by a helicopter or a plane or anything like that. And so only 30 hours after she was arrested, they provided a video of her mocking her after arresting her. And yes, last Sunday, it turned 2 months of her kidnapping, and only today her mother was allowed to see her.
Tell us about some of the things that happened or allegedly happened at this torture facility.
Well, I don't know precisely how many years now it's working, but many other political prisoners have been released from there. And what they do is they torture physically and emotionally to convince these people that what they are doing is right, to stand against Maduro, and to ask for information about the other people involved. So the other activists involved, whoever is, how they're getting funding, because economically speaking, Venezuela is in a very hard situation right now. So yes, it is hard to find funds for their causes. So they pretty much, unfortunately, this is even sad to say, but yes, it is a torture center, not even physically, but also emotionally. And some of the other political prisoners that were there, they have been released, and this is what they say.
This is obviously a very sad situation, and counters the hope of democracy and transparency. As it stands now, I would assume that there are many who are allied with the advocacy here are afraid, or at least know that they could be targeted themselves, including you.
Yes, that's right. And that's why, and we still have many advocates and many activists. They're part of our organization, which is the Ladies of Liberty Alliance there in Venezuela. And we are trying to keep their identities safe. So, but this is the kind of thing that Maria herself would say all the time. Last time that I was with her was in one of our leadership retreats in April this year. And I asked her if she was not trying to leave. And then she said that, well, ultimately, somebody needs to stay. If they want to change the reality in the circumstances in Venezuela, somebody needs to be fighting for it. And that was her case. So internationally, it is, Maduro doesn't have this power precisely to put in jail or to request people. What he can do is that they don't let people back into Venezuela again. And if they try, advocates are abroad. And if they try, they get arrested immediately upon arrival. So like people right now are just not going back, and they are advocating outside of their country.
What made Maria Oropeza so effective in her advocacy?
I think she was working for Maria Corina, that is the opposition leader, for 10 years. So I think with time and with experience, she was becoming very effective, as you said. And it was impressive. If you see her speeches in Venezuela, she would be gathering thousands of people in this very poor area of Venezuela, which is called Portuguesa. And it was impressive. So I believe that she was affected because she had the charisma. She really believed in what she was doing, and that she was in the right side of history. So everything was in her side to make her very effective.
In your opinion, has the Maduro regime always had this totalitarian aspect of governing, or did this start to shift as leadership and power set in?
No, definitely he always had it, but it didn't get this big and this heavy overnight. It's always started with Chavez in early 2000s when he started his terms, and he chose Maduro to be his successor. So everything started still with Chavez, and what Maduro is now known as the Chavista as well, because he's still taking care of all of the regime. And it always started with preventing people from exercising their freedom of speech. So Maduro started controlling press. Nowadays, Venezuela doesn't have any private press. It's only public press. And Chavez also approved many laws that would control, and people that would be advocating would fall for this category of terrorists. So this is precisely what happened to her. So when Maduro assumed as the president, so it was easier for him just to keep what Chavez had prepared for him.
And when you say public press, you mean government-controlled press?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any international pressure on the regime to dismiss these tactics and allow for more transparency in their governmental process and democracy, if you could call it that?
Yes, there are. Pretty much nowadays in the region, if we are looking to South America, in South America, it is Argentina and Uruguay. These are the countries putting more pressure on the Maduro's regime. And this is something that we always say in Brazil, my home country, that we are very unsatisfied with President Lula's position, because he's not putting any, because they are both in the same side, politically speaking, in the same spectrum. So President Lula is very lenient towards Maduro, and he's not putting the international pressure. Just like Brazil, Colombia, they are not doing it, but Argentina and Uruguay, they are. So for instance, when they had 3 days after the election, OAS, the Organization for the American States, they had a meeting here in Washington, D.C. to talk about the elections in Venezuela and to vote to have a bigger screening to decide if they would accept the results or not. And because Brazil voted not to screen it, the resolution was not approved. So, of course, Brazil was not the only one, but Brazil is the biggest country in Latin America and is considered a leader in South America. So it was very disappointing, but Argentina and Uruguay, they are really doing a good job leading this pressure against Maduro. And of course, many other countries around the world, but we need to focus on the region. So if the region is putting pressure, we think it's more effective.
Tell us some of the actual dynamics that can be done. For example, in America, we've utilized tariffs, we've utilized the revocation of funding, we've utilized some of our immigration policy in order to leverage particular outcomes. What can a region nation do in order to effect change in Venezuela?
I do believe all of these examples that you brought up can apply there as well. For instance, Brazil before, when we were with the other president, when we were under President Bolsonaro, we were doing this already, because last election in Venezuela, we faced the precise same thing that we're facing right now. So Brazil was doing it because Brazil was under a different administration. And the problem is that now Brazil, with a left-leaning president, they restarted all of these relationship with Venezuela back again. So it was, they broke what they were trying to do before, and then they restarted a good relationship with Venezuela. But this international pressure, for instance, Argentina removed their embassy from Caracas. So they formally cut relationships with Venezuela. And I do believe that tariffs and making it easy to receive people from Venezuela in Brazil is doing it. They are facilitating the immigration from Venezuela in Brazil, and putting pressure, cutting economic relationships with Venezuela, cutting all of the oil supplies from Venezuela. So I do believe economic pressure would lead to some change. But what we need to understand is that all this pressure is happening already for 10 years since Maduro got into power. It is not being that effective because Venezuela has the support of Russia, China, and Cuba, and all of these countries that use their oil resources. So Venezuela has the biggest amount of oil in the world. So they use their resources. So they keep Maduro regime in power, because even if we do this pressure from the region, if they are still allied with Russia, China, and some countries in the Middle East, Maduro can't stay there. It's not going to be that easy to remove him.
You know the heart and advocacy of Maria. You worked with her. You understand the why, the importance of it. What do you think she would want people to know right now?
I do believe people would love to know how she believed in Venezuela, how hopeful she was. Last time we were together, she said that she wasn't leaving Venezuela because she said that somebody would still need to do it from there. So she wanted people to know that, and she wanted people to know that the elections were stolen, and Edmundo Gonzalez was the elected president.
Wow. Naturally, we are of the same spirit of advocacy. We want things to be fair. We want to make sure that individuals have opportunity at non-corrupt governance in their nation. And the only way you can get to that point is having people like you and Maria and others who are willing to stand up and fight, even when the fight may seem bigger than life. Just know that there is no fight too big for you or anyone else, any other advocate, to overcome. Is there anything that we can do? If you had a message to America, what would you say?
I would say that in America, people should be very certain about freedom of speech and not get triggered easily because people are saying things that you might disagree with. And you should never try to regulate or prevent people from saying whatever they want to say just because you disagree, because this is always the first step for an authoritarian regime.
Well said. We appreciate you being on the program. Thank you for your continued advocacy and leadership.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm at a Wolfpack gathering.
We're growing. I see faces that I recognize, but I also see a lot of faces that I don't recognize, and that's fantastic.
We are all taking time out of our lives to be here, and that's amazing. That means we truly believe in this.
Make no mistake, everyone in this room is a leader in a Wolfpack.
Alaska, West Virginia, Montana, Georgia, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, everyone is here. All these folks paid with their own money and sometimes took vacation days to come here to strategize on how to get our democracy back and get money out of politics.
Or you get more political power just because you have more money. This is why it requires a constitutional amendment.
The process of winning in your state next year doesn't begin when session begins. It begins right now. To work to a goal, something this big that you're actually making a difference of, there's very few things in the world that really compare to that feeling.
Equal rights to fair representation, rights for human beings, anti-corruption laws, and free and fair elections. That's what we are fighting for.
What were the founding fathers? Revolutionaries. And they built revolution into the document.
So Article 5 is the way we have to go.
This is how you do it.
You're in this as a team, you're in this together. The fight will always continue.
That fight is not between
the left and the right. That fight is between basically greed and humanity.
So I'm asking you to put differences aside, whether you're conservative or independent or progressive, to join forces to say no more corruption.
You get beyond the fear, you take that first step, and you'll change the world.
What I want to leave you with, of course, is hope. And I want to assure you that if we keep fighting together, we're going to win together. We're going to get that convention, we're going to get that amendment, and we're going to get our democracy back. Come join us, wolf-pack.com.
Cenk Uygur is not here today, which means that I will be able to talk during the show. Now,
We'll see. We'll see.
Poor Cenk, under the bus.
My God, if Jesus came back, how much would the Republicans hate him? So now you have to give away all of your possessions to the poor. Steve King would be like, oh, Weezy. Everyone should be lucky enough to have a John Iadarola in their life.
You confused everyone.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was pretty clear.
Take a break now.
You can turn me into Dr. Manhattan as long as I get what Dr. Manhattan's packing, okay?
The liberal mom says, Mark Thompson, have you ever thought about doing one of those tapes that soothe people to sleep? Like Mark Thompson reads the phone book. I'd buy it.
If you'll buy it, I'll do it.
Emilio D'Amelio writes in, John, you are so thick. I love you. That's what he wrote.
Pork Chop Express writes in and says John Iadarola needs a new jacket.
Whoa.
Those 24-inch pythons are about to burst out of his sleeve.
Gun, baby. You know, the two people here said that their moms were both in love with you over Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm. That's an improvement. I usually get grandmothers.
Charlie Turk.
No, wait a minute, don't you dare.
Chemical castration when we return from the break.
I hope that, who they choose for the White House isn't just a borderline Klansman. That's all we gotta hope.
That's it. We will settle it.
She's cute.
I didn't say that about Laura Ingraham.
Scandal at TYT. Did Anna comment on my tan yet? No, she hasn't.
You're a good boss.
But Anna did say that I come in here today with a fresh mind. That's all I'm about. I'm about a fresh mind.
I can't with you right now. Okay?
She just can't. She can't, but nonetheless, we have to for another 3 hours. I'm back, baby. Let's rip in the Republicans. See, don't miss the live show. That's great. Tell people, if you're a member, you get the whole live show whenever you want, because this stuff doesn't go into any of the clips.